I installed a small security camera in my apartment last month. Nothing fancy, just a cheap camera facing the living room. I mostly used it when I was out of the house. One night, around 1:30 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification from the camera app. Motion detected. I was in bed, inside the same apartment, so that didn't make sense. I opened the app. The camera feed was showing my living room. Everything looked normal. Sofa, table, lamp, no movement. I assumed it was a bug, maybe the curtain moved or something, so I ignored it and closed the app. About 10 minutes later, another notification, motion detected. This time I sat up in bed. My bedroom door was open just a little, and from my bed I could see part of the living room. Nothing was moving. Still, I opened the app again. The live feed loaded slowly, and for a second, the screen was completely black. Then the image appeared. Living room, same as before, but something felt off. The chair near my dining table had moved, just slightly. I was sure it had been pushed in earlier. Now it was pulled back, like someone had been sitting there. I walked out of my bedroom and checked. The chair was exactly where the camera showed it, pulled back. I pushed it in again and went back to bed. At 2:05 a.m., another notification, motion detected. This time, I didn't open the app immediately. Instead, I looked toward the living room from my bedroom. Still nothing. No sound, no movement. Then my phone vibrated again. Another notification, motion detected. And then another, and another. 5 notifications in less than a minute. My heart started racing. I slowly opened the camera app again, but this time, the screen stayed black for almost 5 seconds. Then the image appeared, and the chair was pulled out again. But that's not what scared me. What scared me was the camera indicator.
I got out of bed slowly. My phone was still showing the camera feed. The chair was pulled out. The living room looked normal, but the camera light on the shelf was still off. I walked closer to it, step by step. The closer I got, the slower my breathing became. Because the live feed on my phone was slightly delayed, not by much, but enough to notice. When I moved my hand in front of the camera, the movement appeared on my phone about 2 seconds later, like the video wasn't actually live. I stared at the screen, trying to understand what was happening. And that's when I noticed something. In the reflection of my TV screen, there was a shadow behind me, very faint, standing near the hallway. I turned around instantly. Nothing. The hallway was empty. When I looked back at my phone, the shadow was still there on the camera feed, standing perfectly still, right behind where I had been standing a moment ago. My hand started shaking. I slowly moved the phone closer to my face, trying to see the shape clearly. But before I could focus on it, the camera feed suddenly froze. Then the screen went black and a message appeared. Camera offline. The room was completely silent. No notifications, no movement. I unplugged the camera and went back to bed. The next morning I checked the app again. There were no recordings from that night, no motion alerts, no history, nothing, just an empty timeline. I threw the camera away that afternoon, but sometimes, late at night, my phone still sends the same notification, motion detected, even though the camera isn't there anymore. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to DarkFable for more dark and mysterious stories. And remember, sometimes the things we install to watch our homes might be watching us instead.